Hello and welcome to this first in a series of videos on Microsoft Desired State Configuration. In these videos we'll be looking at DSC from, first of all, an on-premise perspective and look at using DSC to configure a series of on-premise VMs, and then we hope to move through the series of videos finally looking at DSC in Microsoft Azure and using DSC to configure a set of Microsoft Azure virtual machines. In this first video, we're really just looking at introduction of what a basic DSC configuration script can do. In later videos, we'll build upon this first video. I've got 3 machines, 1 domain controller and 2 member servers. And all I've done extra is configure Windows Management Framework 5.0 on all 3 machines. Now you have to download this and install this, and you'll be able to get this from this URL. So if you connect that URL, you better find a download for WMF 5.0 on the home page. This URL takes you to the PowerShell gallery, which is a huge online resource for PowerShell scripting and PowerShell desired state configuration. Well worth having a look around there. And we'll be using this site in the future to download additional DSC resources. Now, desired state configuration itself is designed as a declarative scripting tool that allows you to declare what you want to do and then execute those commands against a series of nodes on the network. We'll be discussing this as we go through the next series of videos. Right now, what I suggest is you sit back and watch my video here and then look to create your own lab. I've created these virtual machines on Hyper-V on Windows 10, but you can configure this in any virtualization platform you've got available to you. Enjoy. Here we are on server 1, and as you can see, IS is installed on server 1. We can see it there in the server manager under the roles list. Also, if I go to manage, add roles and features, next, and we choose server 1, on the server roles list we can see that IS is installed. Also, if I go to a second machine, if I go to DC1, so here on DC1, if I use Internet Explorer and connect to server1.mgbleadsazure.com, we can see there we've got the IS default page. So server 1's got IS installed. Now, what we're going to do is go back to server 1 and uninstall IS. So if we just flip back to server 1, over here on server 1 then, if we use remove roles and features, next, server 1 selected, and we're going to uninstall the IIS role. So just untick the box, accept everything else as default, and say remove. So we're starting the removal process now. This will take a minute or so. It's probably going to ask me to do a reboot as well, just to complete the feature removal. So there you can see it's asking me now to perform a restart to complete the installation. So if I say close here, oops, and we'll do a quick restart to restart server 1. And this is going to take a minute to restart. Now, under normal circumstances, this machine would restart and IS will finish off its removal process. But server 1 has got a DSC, a desired state configuration, applied to it. And my desired state configuration is monitoring IIS. So with that applied, I would expect that after a reboot, after DSC performs its checks, it will realize that IIS has been removed and then re-add it. Now this process will take a couple of minutes. So while this is working through that process, let's go back to DC and have a look at a couple of PowerShell commands that we can use to see the progress of desired state configuration. So just move from here. We'll go back to DC1. We go back to DC1 and take a look at PowerShell ISE. And here we've got a few PowerShell commands that I've already typed in ready for use in these demonstrations. One of them, look at the top there, is get DSC local configuration manager, and then down around about line 9 we've got test DSC configuration. Now I'll just make this a little bit bigger for you to see. So we're going to start off with this test DSC local configuration manager. Get DSC local configuration manager. Now the local configuration manager, or LCM, is the component that processes your desired state configuration scripts locally and performs checks and monitors the configuration to make sure it stays within your desired state configuration. So if I just run that line, so this is the information for server 1, and you can see it says that LCM status detail, LCM is continuing applying configuration after last reboot. So it's performing its checks and it's looking to see if there's any inconsistencies between the configuration now and what I said the configuration should be. Also worth pointing out is the configuration mode here. Configuration mode is apply and autocorrect. Apply and autocorrect. This means that the LCM, the local LCM, will look at the desired state configuration scripts that I send, apply those settings, and potentially correct the machine if my machine drifts out of configuration. So if we just run this command again, LCM is continuing to apply configuration after last reboot. This will take a minute or so. We'll let that run through and then we'll come back to the video. So here we are back on my DC, and we've run the get-DSC local configuration manager again on server 1. And you can see now that the LCM detail is idle, whereas before, scroll up, LCM state detail continuing to apply for the last reboot. So whatever it's done, it is now finished. So if I use in Explorer again and connect back to server 1, there you go. We've got the IS configuration screen. If I flip to server 1, here we are back on server 1 in the serverman dashboard. And you can see IS is still here, or rather IS has been reinstalled. And again, if I go to manage and add roles and features, next, server 1 next, and scroll down the roles list, here you can see IS is back. And there you go. IS was installed, we removed it, rebooted, and IS came back. Remember, the reboot was particular to this role. IS required that reboot. And this is the power of DSC. Imagine having a set of machines and you create a configuration file, and not only does machines get configured, they stay configured in the way that you've described in the file. No longer do we have to go to machines and think what happened, what changed. We know things haven't changed because our desired state configuration file sets the configuration and the local machine enforces it. In the next video then we'll break down the demo that I've just done. We'll show you how to create the script that installs the web server role. Then in future videos we'll build from there. Thank you.